Sweet. Cool. So welcome everyone. I feel very privileged tonight to be able to host Shane Bird. Now Shane is a life coach and a very good friend of mine. We've known each other for years. And just like to say thanks, Shane, for giving up your time for our team. It's very appreciated.
No worries.
So, yeah, I can honestly say from a personal point of view, Shane has helped our family immensely, and I'm certainly grateful for that. So yeah, I guess without any further ado, Shane, do you want to just jump on and tell us a little bit about your background for those that have just jumped on?
Sure. Yeah. So, yeah, like Jen said, we've known each other well, I started rodeo 24 years ago, and that's where I met Jen. Initially, I was born and raised on a farm. Did spend 6.5 years in the New Zealand Army straight out of high school. And then, went back to the farm. I was farming right up until January this year, where I moved to Sydney to basically run my life coaching business full time. And it started about a year ago. I started the life coaching, and I used neuro-linguistic programming as the courses and the training that I did. And I use that for life coaching. So my main focus really is to help people remove negative charges that they've got on, or negative emotional charges they've got on past events and people that are causing them to, that are causing inner conflict and causing them to hold back in their life and essentially not reach their potential. Because one thing that I did learn through rodeo is mindset is like 90% of it. It doesn't matter how good your horse is or how good you are at riding bulls. If your mind isn't in the game, then you're not in the game. So that's where it all, so just from that, I managed to, I worked on my mindset when I was rodeoing, and then just through the training I've done, I really understand the importance of it now in every aspect of life. So that's where the coaching's all started. And yeah, just like I say, since then, for the last year, I've been coaching people, mostly from the rural sector, have had a few city slickers. But yeah, it's like I say, all about the mindset and just preparing yourself so that you can, there's two things, is removing all that past negative charge you've got, and then preparing yourself so you can move forward with a successful mindset.
Perfect. So, Shane, I guess, like, I've always used visualizations, kind of always been a big part in my deal, well, with my competing wise anyway in rodeo. But can you shed some light on that? Because I know in the business we're in, whether it be for our own life or just for, going after some of the amazing promotions that are on and the rank advancements and all that sort of thing within the company. Can you just shed a bit of light on your strategies around that?
Yep. So I've always been a strong believer that visualizations are really powerful. When I was fighting bulls, I used them pretty much all the time. That's how I became the bullfighter I was, because I visualized myself in every single situation I could possibly create while I was at home. So when it came time to perform in the arena, it was just happening unconsciously, because I'd already essentially practiced it in my mind that many times that my mind knew what to do. And your mind can't tell the difference between an actively imagined event and an actual event. So the more you actively imagine having a desired outcome, the more you're training yourself to act the way you need to in those real pressure or high intensity moments. And the metaphor I always give when I talk to anyone is, there was a guy who was taken prisoner of war in Vietnam called James Nesmith, I think his name was. Now, he was captured and kept there for 7 years in a cell. And before he went to war, he had his favourite golf course, loved playing golf, he had his favourite golf course at home, and he was always shooting about the mid-90s on his golf course. And while he was locked up, he thought, how can I use this time proactively, right? So every single day, he visualised himself playing golf on his favourite golf course at home. And it wasn't just a matter of hitting the ball and chasing it. He would visualise every single thing, from putting the clubs in the car, arriving at the golf course, the shoes he was wearing, the feeling of the grass, the sounds of the birds, the weather. He practiced it in all different weather conditions every single day for 7 years. And then when he went home, he hadn't touched a golf club in 7 years. He went out and shot a round of 74. So he carved 20 shots off his game through visualization alone. So that there is a perfect example of how well it works. Now, the key in there is he associated all the senses to the experience. And all the senses were associated during the practice, during the game, but also what it felt like to achieve it as well. So he would celebrate after every round of what it was like to be a really good golfer. So the key is, if you've got a goal in mind, the strategy I use for setting goals is the second part of it is the visualization of it. The first thing is you imagine what you want. The second part is visualizing it, and that's where you've got to go really active on visualizing it really, really in depth, and all the little things that are involved, and then associating all your senses to it. And then the third part of my goal setting process is to also associate all the emotions you're going to experience by having it. So add that emotion of what it's going to be like to achieve that goal. When you get that promotion, how will you feel? And then start imagining yourself feeling like that, because then you know what it's like to feel like what you want. Instead of waiting for someone to give you that feeling, you can create the feeling on your own. So yeah, that's sort of it. I guess if you've got any questions, just jump in straight away too, because I'm really good more at answering a specific question rather than just blabbering what I think you want to hear.
Yeah. Awesome, cool. And also just thinking, Shane, we've got quite a few new team members on, and I know even with myself, sometimes basically do it, like you'll go into something new and you're all gung-ho, and then all of a sudden reality hits in and you're like, oh shit, what have I done? And that little bit of self-doubt can kind of creep in. So I guess my question would be, how, if anyone is feeling that way and feeling a little overwhelmed on things, like how can you turn that self-doubt into self-belief, so to speak? Or what would be the flip side?
Well, the first thing you want to do is, okay, if you just start with the self-doubt to self-belief, is identify the things you're doing really well at already and praise yourself for it and be proud of it. Because the only reason you doubt yourself is because you're not proud of what you've already achieved in life. And I'm not just talking about only in the business. Like, if you start thinking about the things you've achieved in life, you're going to feel more proud of yourself, and you're going to have a higher self-worth, which is going to eliminate the self-doubt. So really focus on the things you've already achieved, both in life and already in the business, and what's going well, and identify what's going well, and then identify the strategies you use in anywhere in life, as well as the business, to get the results that you want, because that'll build self-belief in your capabilities to get that result. Now, if you want to have, if you're new to anything, the best way to learn how to do something is copy someone who's already done it. So you want to get yourself a coach. Now, if I use the rodeo metaphor again, I always use this one, the team roping, for example. If I wanted to go team roping, I would approach the person who I believe was the best team roper that I could get access to. And then I would go to them, I'd go, I want to know everything you know about team roping. I want to know all the big things and all the little things. And then I'd say, here's my money. I'm going to pay you. I want you to teach me. Here's my money. Show me how you do it. And then we'd go to the arena and he'd start saddling his horse. And I'd go, oh, cool, he's putting a saddle on. I'd go, stop. What are you doing there? And get him to teach me all the little intricate things about saddling the horse and then putting the bridle on and everything else until the horse is fully prepared. And then you go, right, he's going to go in the box. He's going to rope a steer. So he'll ride into the box and I'll go, stop. What are you doing there? Tell me all the little things you're doing there. He'll turn his horse around. I'll go, stop. What are you doing there? What are you looking at? What do you need? What do you need your horse to be doing? What do you need the steer to be doing? Every single step along the way, just before he nods, I'll go, stop. What are you looking for? What needs to be in place? What are you thinking? Like, what are you thinking is always a good question. So you identify all the steps all the way through. So you'll then create the thinking that he's thinking. And then it's the same for your business. So if you're in the business and you're wanting to attract more clients or work out how to get them onto a sales call or do the sales call, find out who's the best at getting them on the sales call and elicit their strategy and break it down into the little steps, and then find out who's the best at doing the sales and then elicit their strategy and break it down and apply it to your own personality and your own persona.
Cool. So have you, obviously with that, with the sales strategy in mind, have you got any tips on like the, I mean, of not quite the end result, but like, yeah, the steps along the way, like what you'd actually, I'm not looking for scripts or anything, but just what you'd sort of, where you'd aim for.
Yeah, the same in whatever business you're in, whatever you're selling, you're not selling a product. You're not selling the product at all. You're selling a feeling. People buy feelings. Okay, so then if you start thinking like that, you go, right, how can I communicate with this person so that they feel really good about buying what I'm going to offer to them? And there's what feeling do they want out of buying your product? So sure, they get the physical product, but what feeling do they want? So if you think about that when you go to buy a pair of shoes, or you're buying groceries, or if you're selling anything within your team, it's what feeling is the product going to produce? And in your environment, there's a good chance they want to know what it's gonna, how they're gonna feel after they start using the product. So really identify what feeling they're going to do, and then emphasize how using the product is going to make that feeling even better. I mean, you're not just going to go, what feeling do you want? You already know what feeling they want. So you're just going to really sell the feeling, not the actual material possession.
Cool. Sorry, busy writing notes as I go.
You are recording. I was going to say you should record it anyway.
Yeah. No, that's we'll see we'll see how the technology stacks up with Jen. It'll be the first time she's done it, so we'll see if it actually comes out at the other end somewhere, and I can rescue it.
Well, I know a little bit. You could elicit my strategy for downloading the recording after if you want.
Oh, there you go. Awesome. Awesome. And I guess too, another thing I was thinking of is kind of running your own race. I mean, again, I go back to barrel racing, but I guess it's, it's relevant in this business as well. Like everyone's sort of running their own business and doing their own thing. Have you got any strategies, or have you got any comments on that? Like, I mean, we have got a very supportive environment, which we're very lucky, we're grateful and lucky for. But yeah, have you got anything else to add onto that one?
Like, use your strengths. Whatever you're strongest at, use your strengths. So focus on that, make sure they stay strong, and then identify the weaknesses that you need to work on, and find that coach to strengthen that part of you. So really, if you find you're struggling on getting people on the sales call, find the person who's really good at getting the people on the call. If you're struggling with the actual sale, find the person who's really good at closing the deal or making the sale. If you're struggling with Facebook, or your marketing, find someone who's really good at doing that, and then just build those up so that every aspect of your business, or of your business or your life, if you just want to talk in life, is all on an even keel.
Awesome. That's cool. Has anyone got any other questions or anything they want Shane to delve into a little more?
Go, Tina.
Hi, Shane. So when somebody starts this business for the first time, what I found with the new distributors recently is, how do I talk to people? My offer of advice there is just ask them how they are, how they're feeling, how they're coping with this COVID issue. That always leads to the health problems that they've had before, or because of that COVID issue. Then you've got the whole, we know about the whole COVID thing, the stress that's going on with everybody. Then you've got the whole financial side of people's life. When you know that, how people are feeling, it's still, for some people, it doesn't make it easy to approach and open the conversation about it. So what would your advice be to those that want to talk about this? They're passionate about health. They understand, natural health, especially because our team here in New Zealand, and I dare say Australia, are really connected with people that want good health. What would your advice be for those that want to talk to people about how to get into what we're doing without being rejected, because there's always that fear of, if I say this or that, it doesn't matter whether you're coming from a emotional point of view, a physical point of view in terms of their physical health problems, you know, pain, etc., or a nutritional point of view, because you know that some people can't afford to buy the good food, etc., but we know what oxidative stress means is you can eat lettuce and still get oxidative stress. What would your advice be?
So the first thing you want to do is, like, you want to share a relatable story that you've overcome or experienced, or a benefit you've got out of using your product. So then straight away they feel like you're relatable. If that's what they want, like if that's what you know they want, or if that's what they want, they will relate to you and then like you. So it's that know, like, and trust factor. First, they have to know you, they have to like you, and they have to trust you to be able to work with you. So you've got to really work on building those three things first. And for them to know you, it's obviously to be introduced. And if they're a fresh friend, if they're a fresh contact, and you're not actually friends with them, the first thing you want to do is build a friendship. That's what I do. As soon as someone contacts me, or I became introduced to someone in any way, I build the friendship straight away. Because then they're going to sort of, you know, they're going to know me and they're going to like me, and then that's going to build the trust. And then you worry about more, and then you share a story more about what you've either overcome or how your products helped you, because then it's going to get like social proof. And you can also possibly use other stories of other people that have got really good results out of it. So that's building that social proof, which is then building the trust factor. And then it's just, that's what I had written down here, was really building that friendship and showing that you're actually caring, but you have to genuinely care too. Don't just ask the questions just because you're trying to, you know, break the ice. It's actually a caring factor. So when you talk about how it's tough to maybe get talking in the COVID situation, just talk about something maybe you've overcome during the COVID thing personally. Completely separate from the business. Just say, you know, I had this happening with the kids, and, you know, we built the hut and they slept the night out there, and one came back with only one sock on, but they didn't kill themselves. You know?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So it's be relatable. You want to be really relatable.
Yes.
And then the fear of rejection. So the only reason you would fear rejection is when you value someone else's opinion about yourself more than you'll value your own opinion about yourself.
Correct.
Now, the only reason you won't value your own opinion about yourself is because you've got low self-esteem or low self-worth.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, yeah. I'll just read that. So I'll read that whole question now. If you fear rejection, I found that I just disassociate from the outcome. I don't know. Yeah. Disassociating yourself out from the outcome is really good, because if your outcome is just to make the sale, then you're really not focusing on the right thing. You need to focus on selling them that feeling of what could possibly come from this. And then if they don't want it, they don't want it. Your values are different to their values, right? So you're essentially, when you're telling them about it, you are showing your values to them. And if their values don't align, they're just not going to align. And it's just not going to work. It's like going in a relationship with people with two completely different values. Might look good on the surface, but within time, a short amount of time, it shows up.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Thanks, Shane.
Perfect. Has anybody else got any other questions? Well, we've got Shane at our beck and call. No more?
Things like literally running through my head. I've never written so fast in my entire life, so thank you.
No worries. Sorry, I know I talk fast, and I'm working on slowing down.
No, it's me, just like you give so much good information. It's just trying to capture all of it, because it's they're all really golden nuggets for us in this business to be able to implement. And I think, you know, you hit the nail on the head with everything that you've said, but, you know, particularly that the outcome is actually not about selling a product, and it's about building relationships with people. And I'm trying to think of a scenario for me at the moment that that might be able to help the team. It's not a general thing, but I guess maybe can you share with us what tools and strategies you put into place when it comes to busyness, because what I find with the size team that I have is that we are on training like today, or we're on training like we have training on a Monday night, we have training on a Wednesday night, and we have lots of different trainings. And I find that because people are so busy in their lives, in their words, it's difficult for them to concentrate on one thing. So if we do a Monday night training, for example, and we do announcements, and then after the announcements, a distributor might come and say, ask a question about something that was on the announcements that they missed. But they were on the training, but they missed it because they're busy on Facebook or messaging people, or, you know, like you could be talking and I could be sitting here like, which I'm not, by the way, but I'm busy writing crazy. My notepad, you'd be like, holy moly, I've literally never written so fast in my life. It's amazing. But it'd be like you talking at me like this. And then I get to the end and it's almost like I'm here because I was told to be. Yeah. I was here because I feel like I'm doing what in our industry we call IPA and non-IPA. So IPA is income producing activity. This is to us like it's non-income producing activity, but it's to some distributors, it's like I'm here because I have to be, and I'm not using this call as an example, I'm just talking generally. Can you share with us, this is the longest way around the question, but how can people unbusy themselves and actually focus on one thing at a time? So one, they retain the information, and two, more importantly, particularly for a call like ours tonight with you, the reason I'm writing so hard is because I know I'm not going to retain everything you say, but I want to write it down so I can go back and go, what did Shane say that I can now go and implement into my business? So how do we get people to focus, and then how do we get them to implement each call, whatever that may be?
So the first thing, which is really interesting how you talk about the writing stuff down, and I'm not exactly sure of the actual percentages, but it's something like if you just sit there and listen to a presentation, whether it's a seminar or something like this, you retain something like 30% of the information. If you write it down, it jumps up to 60 or 70%. And then if you review it within, I think, a week, it jumps up to more like 90% or something like that. Now, those are just round figures, and I can't remember the exact figures. But the point is, taking notes makes a massive difference. Mm. So that would be the first thing I would say to anyone who jumps on a seminar or a meeting like this, is just say, has everyone got their pen and paper ready? Because it's made a big difference. And I was classic at school, how I hated taking notes. So I really failed a lot at school, but now I'm like you, I'm a note master. So I'm always scribbling stuff down. The second thing is allocate time. Make sure you just allocate the time to family, to business, to yourself as well, and make sure you're present during that time. So, for example, like use example here, how someone could be on a call like this and scrolling Facebook. Like at the start of a call like this, at the start of all the meetings like this, you should really say, who's got their pen and paper, and can we all turn our phones off now? I mean, the mastermind that I'm a part of now, that's one of the rules, is turn your phone off or put your phone away. Because if you're doing that, you are distracting yourself. Like you can be, if you're present and actually on the phone doing Facebook, then you're not going to retain any of this information. You know, like it's really all about being present. And then that's a real good tip for when you allocate the time to be with the kids or to be with the husband or the wife, is actually allocate present time. Again, put the phone down and do, you know, and again, I've been guilty of this as well. So it's a lot of ongoing learning that, you know, you just got to keep refining. So if you really, the time thing is, if you want to get real detailed on it, is have a board and then, you know, break it into time slots of every hour of the day and just have color-coded, you know, color-coded pens and all that, and really detail it. Sit down on a Sunday night and go, right, every morning from 6:30 to 8 is getting the kids ready for school. Okay, just block it all out. Every afternoon they get home at 4 o'clock. They've got an hour of homework. I help them with the homework, and then I do dinner. And then after that, we just spend chill time watching TV or playing. So allocate the must-have times, the non-negotiables, and then start and go, right, I've got a call on Monday at 7, I've got that meeting at 5 o'clock, 2 o'clock on Wednesday, block that out, and then work out the rest of the week when you want to do more training or more learning or whatever. So it's really allocate the time and be disciplined to stick to being present in that time.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I think being present really is the key in exactly what you're saying, because I feel like people get frustrated by, the overwhelm and not knowing enough and these things. But I feel like sometimes it's that busyness that doesn't allow the information to come in. So being present's a beautiful message. So thank you so much for that.
No worries. Frustration just means you're about to learn something.
I wished I'd taken more note in shorthand at school now.
I didn't even do shorthand. I barely did even type, keyboard skills.
Yeah. Awesome. Oh, thanks heaps, Shane. You haven't got any final words of wisdom for anybody, or is there any other questions, I guess?
Oh, if there's any more questions, fire them at me. Thank God for frustration.
Yeah.
So the most important thing I've found in anything I've achieved is the psychology behind it. Now, for my business to be able to succeed the way it is at the moment, I had to get my mind right. So I created incantations, daily incantations that put me and prepare me every single morning to be in the right state of mind. So if you've got any self-doubt, you need a stronger incantation to overcome that. Now, I started out with, I believe in myself, I'm an achiever, I get results. Now, that's a really good one just to build that self-worthiness or that self-belief. I believe in myself, I'm an achiever, I get results. If you stand in front of a mirror every morning and you stand like you're a Superman or a superhero, that's going to put your body in a higher peak state, and it's going to prepare you. It increases the testosterone by 20% in males and females, but it also increases your chances of taking action by 30%. So put yourself in that stance of being like a superhero, and then incant those incantations of, I believe in myself, I'm an achiever, I get results. So that was my base one. I've also got other ones. Before I go into any coaching situation, I say, I now command my unconscious mind to keep me calm and relaxed, to give me the knowledge, the words, and power, so I can serve this person to change their life from today onwards. So you create little incantations like that. You could have one going into sales. You could have one going into just a meeting or anything like that. If you're real nervous about any kind of meetings, I now command my unconscious mind to keep me calm and relaxed so that I can best serve myself, my clients, and the people in this meeting today. So you just create whatever comes out really good for you. But the power of the incantations and affirmations, or whatever you want to call them, is really blowing my mind of how much it can, how powerful it is. And if you think about it, when we were kids, we were raised on incantations. Don't do that. Don't go near there. You can't do that. Sit down and listen. You're not good enough. You're not old enough. They're all incantations coming to us from other people, and we just took it on, and now we don't believe in ourselves.
Perfect. Right, geez, I'm glad you repeated that a couple of times. I had to write really, really fast then. That's awesome, Shane. Thank you so much. So if anyone wants to kind of start, following you, I know you've got a really awesome ebook that I grabbed and I'm finding really helpful. And you've got some other tools and things. How are we best to contact you, so to speak, or how everyone else best to contact you?
Best way is just to probably send me a friend request on Facebook. So just Shane Bird. And then like if you're real interested in getting mindset stuff, I'll add you to, I can send you an invite to the group that I've got called, or you can go to that anyway now on Facebook as a public group. Just click to join. It's called the Achievers Mindset. And just click on there and I put stuff on my personal page, but I add extra content and run extra lives and stuff in the group. So look me up. And then if you've got any questions, just fire me a personal message straight away. I'm more than happy to either answer it on there. If you want to jump on a phone call, we can do that too. And then, I got my website too, shanebird.com. I don't really, it's just there more of a information gathering place for people to get a bit more info. So yeah, that's probably the best way to get hold of me.
Perfect.
Just that question for Morag said, tell us how your coaching might help us. What do you mean specifically?
Here I am. I couldn't unmute myself. I'm like, where's the button? Just how, I don't know, how, like if we were to come on board as a client with you, how the NLP works, how it would sort of, what would we be looking at?
So I guess
I don't know.
The neuro-linguistic programming covers a real wide range of stuff, and I just use a combination of those tools. My signature program is where I do a full breakthrough method with you. And when I do that, I essentially elicit your life history and find out everything that's happened in your life that you've got a negative charge on now. And then I teach you how to turn all of those events, the past events and people that have got those negative charges, into positive aspects for your life, so that you're no longer holding your back because of the negativity or the negative charge you've got. So you can use it to serve you in a positive way so that you can reach for more. Because the only reason you're holding yourself back is because of a pattern you learned that you fear repeating itself. So it's got to be removed from the unconscious mind, because it's so deeply ingrained in the unconscious mind that it's happening outside of your awareness. Like self-sabotage is an unconscious pattern that is happening outside your awareness. People will go out to achieve something and they'll get 3/4 of the way through it. And I was a self-sabotage king. Get 3/4 of the way through it, and then all of a sudden you just go, oh yeah, I don't need to do that anymore. And then a week later or a day later, you're frustrated because you've given up. Now, the reason that's happening is because your unconscious mind has got all the self-doubt and low self-belief about yourself that it's saying you can't do that. And now, if you don't retrain the unconscious mind, it's just going to keep playing out. The unconscious mind can process 40 million bits of information per second, and the conscious mind can only process 40. So the unconscious mind is 1 million times more powerful. Now, whenever we put ourselves in a stressful situation or a high tense situation, the unconscious mind just takes over and it runs the pattern. So if you've got a pattern that's really terrible, it's just going to take over and stop you. So like the example I always use is a car. When you're driving a car, you unconsciously just drive. The only time you consciously do anything in a car now, because we've done it so much, is think about what street do I need to go down, and that's about it. You don't think about the indicating, the braking, accelerating, turning the key, whatever. Now, if a car pulls out in front of you, your unconscious mind knows to hit the brakes. Now, if you're out there trying to achieve something and you feel some sort of a resistance, like a car or a blockage pulls out in front of you, and your unconscious mind is to doubt yourself, or that you've been told you're not good enough, or that you're a failure, your unconscious mind is just going to do that and stop you from doing it. So it's all about going back to reprogram the unconscious mind.
So, I'll message you.
Sorry, that was a long answer.
No, that's cool.
I use timeline therapy to do that, which is a process designed specifically for reprogramming the unconscious mind. They really programmed it to help the militants of war to remove those traumas. And then it's just evolved into the whole life coaching aspect. So yeah, if you want to just definitely just message me, we can jump on a phone call.
Cool.
Sorry, about being present, just saying good night to the kids.
Night, Brooke and Chad.
Yeah. I think they were just, they were ginking. They wanted to catch up with who was on. Thanks heaps, Shane. Really appreciate your time. And like I said, I know how much you've helped my personal family, and I've had lots to do with Shane with, we both had a part in coaching the youth of New Zealand Rodeo for a little bit. And I think can honestly say it was the most prepared they ever went to come over in their Trans-Tasman challenges with the I was able to give them the physical stuff on how to barrel race and what to do there, and Shane just added that extra dimension for them. So yeah, I really rate him high and his expertise. So yeah, really appreciate the fact that you've taken the time out for us.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's been good.
No problem. Righty ho. Well, I'll sort out this technology and say goodbye. And yeah, we'll catch up with you later, everyone.